Hello, this is a continuation of Sick of Bruises, written by Bunny0980, read by Stick. Chapter 3, Video Games. Summary: Izuku gets help from the wrong person, but was this really such a bad mistake? Trigger warnings for this chapter: bullying and assault. Pain. Pain was all Izuku could process as explosion after explosion blinded him. Kacchan had dragged him into an out-of-the-way alley. That's how Izuku had known that this would hurt. When Izuku tried to struggle, Kacchan only gripped tighter and became angrier. What seemed like a century later, to Izuku, Kacchan finally got bored, done with his punching bag, and relieved of his anger. He had left Izuku burnt, bruised, and broken in the alley, specifically Izuku's hands. Izuku had tried clawing at Kacchan, and it resulted in his hands being blown up multiple times. Now they were red and bleeding. Izuku sat, leaning against the alley wall, for a while, before finally he managed to bear the pain and reach for his phone. The greenette let out a pained gasp, as his fingers closed around the cold, cracked device. It had seen its fair share of bullying, but miraculously still worked. He couldn't see, due to the blinding flashes of Kacchan's quirk, so he had to rely on muscle memory to navigate his contacts. Few as they were, Izuku's hands shook the entire time. From what he remembered, Izuku only had 4 contacts: Kacchan, Aunt Misuki, Uncle Masaru, and Mom. So it should have been easy to click on his mother's contact and ask her to help him. He knew it would bother her, but Izuku really had no choice. Clicking on where Izuku's mom's contact should have been, the top contact, because Izuku had added her before the Bakugos. Izuku shakily tapped where he hoped the call button was. There was no way Izuku could type with his damaged hands and eyes. Desperately, Izuku prayed to every god he could think of to allow her to pick up, even if those gods had never helped him before. After waiting a few seconds, Izuku was sure that it was a lost cause. Tears began to cluster in his already wet eyes as the feeling of hopelessness resurfaced, suffocating Izuku. And then, Izuku heard the line pick up. "What?" a raspy voice asked, not attempting to hide his annoyance. Izuku flinched. That wasn't Mom. I'm so sorry," he whispered, not having the strength to talk any louder. But who is this? I need my mom, please." There was a shuffling on the other line. "This is Shigaraki. You're the kid who was mugged." Izuku startled. He had forgotten that Shigaraki had given him his number. He wasn't sure what to do, but his strength was rapidly decreasing, so he didn't really have a choice. Shigaraki had said that he wanted to meet up again, right? In a barely audible mumble, Izuku gave the location of the convenience store he knew was around here somewhere, and then promptly passed out without hanging up. Tomura was worried. He had just been playing a new video game when, surprisingly, his phone had rung. Tomura didn't have many contacts, courtesy of being isolated from other kids as a boy, so it was understandable that he jumped and managed to disintegrate the controller he was holding. When Tomura had picked up the phone, he was already annoyed because of his controller, so it only made him even more annoyed when he saw that the number was unknown. Tomura picked it up anyway, though, because if this person managed to find his number, then they had to be of some importance. "What?" his scratchy voice hissed as he answered the call. He had lost a controller for this. I'm sorry, but who is this? I need my mom, please. With a start, Tomura recognized the voice of the young teen he had given his number to in an effort to recruit. Sure, Sensei had said that the boy would call, but so soon? Tomura was confused. He got up, headed towards the bar where Kurogiri was. He had a bad feeling. The kid didn't seem to know who he was, but why would he not remember? "This is Shigaraki," he said. "You're the kid who was mugged, Midoriya?" He heard a small, barely audible gasp on the other side of the line, either in pain or surprised. Wait, pain? Why did he sound hurt? Who had hurt him? Why was he hurt? Nervously, which was an emotion Tomura didn't usually feel for others, he waited for the kid to say something else. But he didn't say anything else, besides a location that Tomura could barely hear. The younger one didn't hang up, but with the silence Tomura was getting as answers, he might as well have. Quickly, Tomura rushed into the bar, demanding that Kurogiri open a portal to the location that the kid had whispered. Tomura prayed that he had heard right. Wait, why did he care? As a very startled Kurogiri opened the portal, Tomura quickly rushed inside it and found himself in a desolate area, right in front of a convenience store. He made his way to the door and quickly opened it, searching the store, but the boy was nowhere to be seen. Panic flooded Tomura's gut. Now in a full sprint, he ran out of the store and started looking around the area. There was no Midoriya. Tomura began scratching at his neck, hard. Where was the boy? He looked around again, desperately trying to find any chance of Midoriya. He caught sight of an alleyway, out of the way and unassuming. Tomura felt his eyes widen as he stopped scratching at his neck and made a desperate sprint to the alley. Inside, he found what he was looking for. Midoriya laid in the alley, passed out. His phone was beside him with the call still active. His hands were a bloody mess, and he had burns all over. Bruises littered his body, mainly around his jaw, as if someone had tried to prevent him from speaking. Generally speaking, it wasn't that bad, save for his hands. Nowhere near as bad as the last time they had met. But oh, was it horrifying to see the young boy passed out in the alley all beat up. Tomura started panicking, vision blurry and thoughts haywire. Why was he reacting like this? It's not like he'd never seen someone bruised and burnt before. He had been the instigator a few times too, but for some reason, this rubbed him in all the wrong ways. Tomura steadied his breathing, still shaky but acceptable. He got out his phone and ended the call that had been neglected. Quickly, he texted Kurogiri his coordinates with no explanation. Kurogiri must be so confused. When the portal appeared, he easily picked up Midoriya, and as an afterthought, Midoriya's phone. Careful not to touch either with all 5 fingers. Why hadn't he thought to bring his gloves? Oh yeah, 'cause he was panicking. When he appeared in the bar, Kurogiri looked poised to batter him with questions, but refrained when he saw the limp boy in his charge's arms. Tomura was too shell-shocked to speak, but Kurogiri seemed to understand. When Tomura looked up from putting Midoriya on the couch for the second time, both times the boy was bloody. Great. Kurogiri had a first aid kit and handed it to Tomura. Tomura started patching up the burns, slathering them with burn cream and bandages. Gosh, how do you get burned this much? Was the kid mugged again? When he was done wrapping up Midoriya's burns, Tomura got up from his crouched position on the floor to slouch on the couch next to the former. Surprisingly, the kid didn't take up the entire couch. Wow, he was really short. Tomura, with a huff, grabbed his phone and started playing some app games. What? It's not like he cared about Midoriya. Tomura wasn't just going to sit there bored while the kid slept. It's not like he kept flickering his eyes to the limp body in hopes that he would wake up. Nope. Tomura just didn't do stuff like that. An hour and 27 minutes later, and no, Tomura was not keeping track of every minute that passed. Definitely not. Midoriya finally woke up. Good. Tomura was getting bored. That was the only reason he immediately put his phone down and diverted his full attention to the boy. The only reason. He wasn't worried, Kurogiri. Midoriya sat up with a groan, barely looking at Tomura before recognition entered his gaze. The younger's eyes widened. Dang it, he said in a whisper before letting out a string of apologies that somehow didn't leave him breathless. How does someone talk for that long without air? Shut up, kid. Tomura cut him off with a totally real glare. What the heck happened anyway? Why were you so burnt? Midoriya shut his mouth with an audible click, then flinched when he realized how bruised his jaw was. Sorry, I didn't mean to be a bother. I was trying to call my mom, but I pressed your number by accident. I swear, I didn't mean to contact you. Tomura honestly thought that his head was about to pop off with how afraid he looked. Why was he so freaking scared? Tomura hadn't done anything to invoke that kind of fear yet. Maybe he should lessen his glares? Calm down, kid, Tomura said instead of his millions of questions. Midoriya looked like he was about to have a panic attack. Actually, he may already be there. Why don't you have some water and a snack? Then we can talk. Hopefully a snack and drink would be enough to calm Midoriya down. Otherwise, Tomura had no idea what to do. He better not cry. A few moments later, Tomura found himself in the kitchen grabbing a pack of Cheez-Its and a glass of water. When he went back to the main room, Midoriya looked like he had calmed down somewhat. That was good. Tomura lazily sat next to him and handed him the Cheez-Its and the water, waiting for the boy to finish his water before questioning him. I should be delicate with the questioning. He still looks nervous. So, why did I find you beat to a pulp in an alley? Tomura said bluntly. What the heck? That wasn't delicate. Thankfully, Midoriya didn't cry, but he did startle, jumping a foot off the couch, and then flinching when he processed what Tomura had said. So sorry, Midoriya said again. What was with him in apologizing? My friend got mad at me. I didn't mean to bother you. He looked away as if in shame. Friend, Tomura wondered. He never had a friend, but was pretty sure that friends don't beat each other up because of an argument. Why was he so mad at you? He will be a hero. And he was attacked and couldn't defeat the villain. He had to be saved. So it wasn't even Midoriya's fault that the brat was angry. Who was this friend? So he was mad at you and hurt you for no reason, Tomura said in a way that couldn't betray his frustrated feelings. He hated bullies. No. Kakachan wouldn't never hurt someone without a reason. I deserved it. Tomura raised his eyebrows at the younger. You don't deserve to be beaten up because someone wants to let off steam. That sounds like a bully. Midoriya's eyes widened as he flailed his hands around his face. You don't understand. Kakachan's going to be a hero. He isn't a bully. His rejection sounded frail even to Tomura, and that was saying something, as Tomura had tantrums all the time without sound reasoning. Give me one reason that this Kakachan isn't a bully. He's going to be a hero? Midoriya flinched. That doesn't count, and you know it. Well, he was told his entire life that what he was doing was okay. Tomura sneered. This has been happening for years. 14 is old enough for a conscience to come in. He would have known that what he was doing was at least a little wrong. Stop defending him. But, Tomura raised an eyebrow, and Midoriya deflated. If he's been harming you for years, not only is that bullying, but if it's as physical as this, it's illegal. Kacchan isn't a hero. He's an abuser. Midoriya didn't look convinced, and had gone a little pale, but Tomura didn't have the energy for this. Why couldn't Midoriya see that he was being bullied? Whatever. Just think about that. I'm bored. Do you want to play a video game? Hesitantly, Midoriya nodded, and Tomura got up to grab a game. With practice ease, he put Super Smash Bros. On the TV and nabbed 2 controllers for himself and Midoriya. They played for hours. Midoriya was awful, but got better the more they played. Tomura still won everything. Despite how Midoriya had no idea how to play, it was still fun for Tomura to game with someone else for once. He wouldn't be against doing it again. Midoriya's excessive mumbling and Tomura's maniacal laughter was cut off when Kurogiri came into view. Young master, it appears to be getting late. Midoriya would probably like to get home now. We don't want to keep his mother waiting. Behind Tomura, Midoriya flinched at the reminder of his mom. Nobody noticed. Tomura scowled, but got up with Midoriya at his heels. Midoriya, would you mind telling me your address? Kurogiri asked. Midoriya shot Kurogiri a kind smile as he recited his address. His eyes widened when the misty man created an equally misty portal to presumably his house. Midoriya looked like he wanted to ask a billion questions, but refrained. Hey, Midoriya, Tomura said, catching the greenet's attention. Come back soon. I need a player too for a lot of my games, even if you suck. Midoriya looked surprised, but bounced back quickly, with a blinding grin. Of course! I had fun! If you're okay with me coming over again, I'd love to. Good, Tomura said simply. Bye, Midoriya. Midoriya stood there for a second, with a contemplative expression. He seemed to come to a decision then. Izuku. What? Tomura said with confusion. You can call me Izuku, if you will want to. The boy looked away nervously. It's just that you were nice to me, even if you knew I was corkless, and you helped me twice. Tomura blinked, confusion making itself known. He was allowed to call Midoriya by his given name. Was this what it was like to have a friend? Either way, Tomura liked it. Sure, and I guess you can call me Tomura. You should get going now. Izuku brightened, with enough light to rival the sun. Okay, bye-bye, Tomura. He then walked through the portal, still smiling. Kurogiri closed the portal with ease, before turning to Tomura with crescent-shaped eyes, excitement radiating from him. Don't say a word, Tomura growled. I wouldn't dream of it.